Can you, my dear Watson, conceive of a plot more audacious than that in which I, then a youth barely 17 years of age, had thus become embroiled? That anyone should attempt to kidnap the Queen and substitute another for her, however temporarily, is almost beyond belief. Yet, as I have related, the startling conclusions at which I had arrived concerning the Manor House had now been verified. This was indeed the plan, and, as you will recall, the attempt of John Whitney and I to foil it had come early to grief when we were discovered, overpowered, and imprisoned in the house. Now we lay in the White Room awaiting an opportunity to make our escape. But time was running out, for the attempt on the Queen was to be made that very morning, and it was imperative that the conspirators be brought to justice.
I hope I don't call at an inconvenient time, but Colonel Turnbull did say that he would subscribe to the garrison ball. It's in aid of the orphans, you know.
I am afraid the Colonel is on his way out. But he has asked me to give you these.
I say, 5 guineas? Most generous.
Oh, make it 10, Ranjit. Oh, make it 10. Wait, no.
Shh. Someone's coming. I hear footsteps. Now they'll go for the shoe first. When they bend down to pick it up, we hit them.
It's me! It's me! Stop! It's me!
Bugs, what are you doing here?
Last night, while I were watching, I said you come in, so I waited. And when you never come out, I came in after you.
Well done. You waited all night.
Ah, got a few rabbits. Naught else to do.
I'm touched. Now, do you know who else is in the house at the moment?
Yes,
Yes, well, who?
that Jasper. And that stuck-up and all, with his head in pudding cloth. On another one, as I don't know.
What about the Colonel and Mrs. Turnbull?
Gone.
In the coach.
Ah,
Right. Follow me. Now, Newbugs, I want you to take this letter to Dr. Sourbutt. You know who I mean?
yes. The old deal housing man.
Yes, well, just one of his many talents. I want you to tell him to make sure that it is delivered with all possible speed.
Who to?
Well, read it. It's on there. Come on. Remember what I taught you.
Now.
Colonel.
Colonel? Hamilton.
For heaven's sake, Sherlock, you do choose the most extraordinary time to give reading lessons.
Well, I happen to believe that education is of primary importance. All right, get along with you.
Yeah, the coast's clear.
Through the woods and run like a deer.
Aren't we going?
And lose the quarry? Oh, no. What does the name Dewleap Singh mean to you, John?
That Maharaja chap.
Yes. The disinherited infant Maharaja of the Punjab, brought to live in England after the annexation of 1849. Now 34 years old, the idol of London society, and a favourite of the Queen's. I see from this that he has accepted an invitation to visit Her Majesty at Windsor the day after tomorrow.
Didn't I warn you? They must be found. What?
Sherlock, now can we go?
Patience, John. Patience. We must guard these miscreants until the military arrive. Here. Just sit and read the paper.
Oh, thank you. I thought you said this was the Western Morning News.
Well, isn't it?
No, it's the Leeds Mercury.
Yes, well, I don't claim infallibility, John. Merely a close approximation.
Oh.
My pulse is the clock of my life.
Charity, dear, what are you doing?
I'm feeling my pulse, Mamma.
Why, whatever's the matter, child? Are you not well?
She's as fit as a fiddle, Rachel. We've been reading Mr. Rollins in The Children's Friend.
Mr. Rollins says the pulse is the clock of life, Mamma.
Does he, dear? I'm afraid that's a little deep for me.
Charity has copied out a verse for Sherlock, my dear.
Oh.
In the most beautiful copper plate.
I'll read it. My pulse is the clock of my life. It shows how my moments are flying. It marks the departure of time and tells me how fast I am dying.
Very commendable, Charity, dear. Might I suggest that it would make an excellent sampler to hang above the boy's bed?
Indeed. Indeed. I'm sure that family of his never thought of buying him The Children's Friend, eh?
Alas, no.
That must be the military.
They've made good time.
Sherlock, there's no one here.
Here it is. Idiots. Trick. An elementary trick. Quick. The tunnel entrance.
What the devil is going on?
The tables are being turned. Shh.
What is it?
I'm very much mistaken. Gas of some sort.
Look at the fire.
Carbon dioxide. So they intend to asphyxiate us. It's considerably heavier than air. We must get above it. Climb on the furniture, John, as high as we can go.
Not that long. Not at the rate that stuff's coming out.
Long enough, I think. The military should be here within minutes, provided new bugs don't come on.
As the November afternoon wore on, it became increasingly apparent that something had gone dreadfully wrong. My deadline for the arrival of the military had long since passed, and John Whitney was beginning to show signs of weakening.
John, you must hold on.
I don't think I can. Not much longer. Where are they?
I don't know. But I fancy we're going to have to seek our own salvation.
Will you sit still?
And we'll be waiting.
Well, you be precious little used to them with your head stoved in.
You gave yourself a nasty crack, you know, when you fell.
Nah.
I know. The trouble with you poachers is you can't find your way around in daylight.
How long do you reckon Miss Charlotte will be?
Well, the way she rides, she's probably halfway back from the barracks already, heading a cavalry charge.
Oh, come on, then. I want to be there when soldiers come.
Yes.
Come on.
John, you remember, just before the grills dropped into place over the windows, the gas began to enter the room, hearing a sort of clattering noise like an anchor chain being paid out somewhere above here.
Yes, I think I do.
The control mechanism must be up there. If only I could get to it.
Well, there is no way.
There is one. The chimneys. They interconnect. I could climb up the one in here and come down the one in the room above.
You'd never make it. With the gas, or you'd get stuck.
Nevertheless, I could take a powerful deep breath and try. Wish me luck, John. And for God's sake, keep awake. If you fall, you have no chance whatever. Count aloud, recite a poem, the alphabet, anything.
The little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now I often wish night had borne my breath away.
Come on! Well, not so fast. I'm an old man.
So's my pa. He can run.
Aye, with a gamekeeper's shotgun up his behind.
John, I'm up here. I'll have you out in a few minutes. John! John! John!
Look, they're there. That's Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte! Charlotte!
I'm sorry I couldn't keep up with you. Come on, there's no time to lose.
Come on, Uncle.
This way.
John!
And about time, too.
You sure you're feeling all right now, sir? We could continue this later.
No. He's absolutely fine, aren't you, John?
Yes, I'm fine, really.
So, on Colonel Hamilton's orders, we rode first to Preston Station. We were too late. The royal train had already passed through and there was no sign of the Turnbulls.
You mean the train didn't stop?
No, it didn't.
Of course it didn't.
Well, why not?
John, do you remember when we were up at the Manor house and I discovered that box with a thorn in it?
Yes.
I took the elementary precaution of replacing the sharp and poisoned thorn with a perfectly harmless and blunted one. I'd come prepared, you see, knowing full well that somewhere in that house I would find such a device, and having discovered how it worked from an example stumbled upon by Sergeant Grimshaw in the woods and used to tie round a kerchief of mushrooms which he presented to Mrs. Cunliffe. The example he found, we must assume, had become detached from the dog's paw after it paid its fatal visit to Natty Dan in the hideaway that night.
So the Queen was never in danger?
Never.
Yes, you might have told me. It could have saved me a good deal of worry.
I doubt it. You would only have worried instead about someone discovering what I'd done.
Now listen.
Incidentally, gentlemen, it is considered advisable that not a word of this affair get beyond the immediate circle of those involved.
Of course.
My Aunt Rachel wouldn't believe me anyway. She won't hear a word against Jasper or the Turnbulls.
Unfortunately, we have no one to charge or even to interrogate. We can do very little even about the Munchie without some corroborative evidence. Naturally, the whole affair will be pursued through the proper channels to determine who else in the royal circle may have been involved. But with no one in custody,
I fully expected the Turnbulls to return to the manor house to find out what had gone wrong.
Well, if they do return, my men will be waiting for them.
They'll not be back now. They must have had a contingency plan. They've been spirited away just as Jasper and the rest were. We have, I suspect, seen the last of them.
I wonder.
Drat that boy and his infernal noise.
I'll send Mrs. Cunliffe to ask him again, if you wish.
4 whole days. I don't know how you stand it.
I stand it, Brother Gideon, because I do my best to understand it. Why, that poor boy has been sunk in the deepest melancholy ever since he returned home. And his illness, though mercifully short and not as I'd feared typhoid, has sorely afflicted his mind. If his sad music can soothe him, then I will not be the one to deny it him.
Your mother is the very model of Christian charity. I could bite my tongue.
You rang, Mum?
No, Mrs. Cunliffe, no, it was I. An error on my part. I think I am man enough to confess it publicly and to pray for forgiveness.
Oh, no harm done, sir. I was only peeling potatoes.
Mama, it's the Turnbulls, Colonel and Mrs. Turnbull. They're coming here.
Oh, my goodness.
Here?
Quick, tidy up. Well, how nice. How very, very nice.
Indeed. To take us just as you find us. Now, that is true neighborliness.
Now, we come, I'm afraid, to bid our adieus.
Oh, you're not leaving us?
Well, ask Mum, yes. Duty calls. We sail this very day for India once more.
But the climate, Colonel Turnbull, your wife's health.
Quite frankly, Mrs. Holmes, at this time of the year, I find the chilling dampness of England just as debilitating as the heat of the East.
Oh, indeed.
Now, we go this time to more temperate parts, I'm happy to say.
Sherlock. Feeling better, I hope. You certainly look more cheerful.
Mrs. Turnbull. Colonel Turnbull. What an unexpected pleasure.
You see, you've done him good, dropping in like this.
Henry, dear, distribute the gifts, would you?
Gifts?
Christmas still 4 weeks away and gifts already. Do you know, I have been thinking, Rachel, I shall definitely give Captain Chumley a subscription come Christmas.
My brother retains a childlike delight in the bounties of Christmas.
Oh,
Colonel.
indeed. Splendid season.
Then I'm sure, sir, that the ladies will forgive me if you are first.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, my goodness, how kind.
Mrs. Turnbull, how clever of you. You have, I see, divined my little weakness for exotic edibles. Naughty.
Oh, it's simply gorgeous.
Look, Mama.
For you.
Is it safe to open it, Colonel?
Perfectly.
So, it was Jasper's brother, Sebastian, who spirited them away. They are by now, I assume, safely on their way back to India.
We sail together this evening.
Please be sure and thank them for the book.
Ladies and gentlemen, my dear little daughter has a little song in honor of our departing friends. Charity.
The Swallow's Farewell. Now summer days are done, autumn is nearly gone, winter is coming on with ice and snow. Over the sea in bands to yonder
Excuse me, Mum. Were you expecting Mr. Jasper? I've just seen him outside.
Oh, it must be time to go. Well, goodbye, sir.
Oh, goodbye, Colonel.
Mum. And you, young man. Goodbye.
I'll see you to your coach.
Oh, that's most kind of you, young lady. Come along, my dear.
I'm coming.
I'm so disappointed.
Dear lady. Dear lady. Pendarg will be a social desert without you.
Gideon, you must let Mrs. Turnbull go.
Indeed, but with great reluctance. Merciful heavens! What was that?
The Colonel's coach. It's been blown up.
Charity.
Mama! Oh, Mama! My baby! My poor baby!
Merciful.
Whatever's happened to the Colonel?
He seems to be moving. I'll run and fetch John and Dr. Sauber.
Mrs. Conliffe! Mrs. Conliffe!
No, I'm fine now, thank you. Miss ever so. Poor old codger. They didn't have no need to do that to him, did they?
Here, have another sip of port.
Yeah, steady on. You'll have me tight as a tiddler.
Is everything all right in here? How is poor Mrs. Turnbull? Chumley. That subscription. Later. Later. There's too much to do just now. Dr. Sourbutt's. Mrs. Whitley, you've come down, have you? Well, I'll just go on. Don't worry about me. I blossom in adversity. Truly, I do.
Is it all right for him to go up?
I think so.
Well, he can't do much harm now. Charity is fast asleep, and Aunt Rachel has recovered sufficiently to begin questioning my medical proficiency.
How's Betty?
Oh, she's fine. She seems to have taken a fancy to Captain Chumley and has turned a somewhat flirtatious Queen's evidence.
So, 2 days after I got to Windsor, Claude, I was to receive this Indian prince, you see.
Julep Singh.
How do you know?
Call it an inspired guess.
Your Maharaja. The paper you found at the Manor House.
Precisely. And I'll tell you something else. The object of your operation was to secure the eye of the peacock.
Go on.
You see, Julep Singh was the 12-year-old ruler of the Punjab when, some 20 years ago, it was annexed by Britain.
Oh, he's going to give us a history lesson.
Shush, Uncle.
He was then persuaded to present as a gift to the Queen India's most precious possession.
The Koh-i-Noor diamond.
Uncle, shush. Let him have his moment.
Well, he always carries on as if the rest of us don't know anything.
If no one's interested...
George, will you let him continue?
All right then, young un, out with it. I dare say Johnny doesn't know it.
The Koh-i-Noor, then. That exquisite, priceless jewel that once formed the eye of the peacock in the ancient peacock throne of Delhi. A jewel which was passed into Julep Singh's safekeeping from his father and a stone of epic significance to the Sikhs.
Do you think he'd like to see it returned to India?
I dare say he'd like to. He probably thinks the Queen has about as much right to the Koh-i-Noor as he has to Windsor Castle.